Hello, everyone. We are live, and I want to welcome everybody to this show, to today's episode. Great to have everyone. I'd like to know where you're connecting from, your name, and your location so that you can be welcomed. I know I want you to feel welcome. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. And we have a special guest with us. He's going to be taking us into a deep dive, telling us how he's made a difference in his word, what he's doing presently, and how we can learn from him. We do not need to reinvent the way. And let me just go straight into introducing the show. My name is Sandra Ukoh. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team Member, speaker, trainer, and coach. I'm also a sales expert of over 20 years in the IT industry, a member of the Toastmaster International, and the author of the book, Can Anything Hold You Back? And guess what? In another 1 month from now, I'm going to be launching my second book. So I'm going to be inviting everyone. And just before we begin the show, I want to just play the short intro that talks about the show, what the show is all about. Hi, you're welcome to Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh. How the believer is a great giant in you, waiting to be discovered and unearthed. You have within you right now all that you need to become that change agent and the best version of you that God has made you to be. It is time to ignite you and discover your greater potential and to see the possibilities that exist within you to help you maximize your potential. Through this unique platform for mentoring, training, teaching, and coaching people on how they can become better versions of themselves after being through trauma and trials in their finances, business, career, relationships, and a lot more. At Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh live show, we leverage the power of storytelling, coaching, mentorship, and value creation to help bring about the best in people in order to create a world of difference. This show requires bringing us to assessing our value system and process of recreation of a good value system to help shape our thoughts through the guests that share their story on this platform. This process opens our eyes to new strategies, information, and value perspective that will help us define and refine our value system with more clarity on our why. We need to know our why. Why am I here? What have I been called to do or to solve? To help people live with a mindset, begin with the end in mind, and to stand out in all that we are called to do. You can join us live on Monday at 5 p.m. EST, 10 p.m. West African time. And if you have a great story or testimony to share, you can reach us via our contact info@deepinsightword.com. We will respond as soon as we get your details, or you send us the details via this link. Thank you, and you are welcome to today's episode. Just before I bring him live, I like to just read his bio, sharing. I like to read his bio. I'm going to be reading a short bio of our guest today. His name is Segun Sonowo, Mr. Meaningful. He's a multiple award-winning real estate consultant, ranking among the top 50 in a brokerage organization that has over 70,000 agents. He was employed in the financial service industry with over 2 decades experience spanning 7 different institutions. His career cut across retail banking, product development and management, strategy and performance management, and remedial asset management. Having spent over 2 unbroken decades in the financial services industry, he transited into the wealth creation space, aiding discerning investors to make money, manage money, and multiply money via real estate. He is entrepreneurial minded with interest in business development, marketing, and sales. His passion for photography is affirmed by the co-ownership of Portrait Digital Media, a one-stop shop for all family photography needs. He also sits on the board of a couple of other entities. He also has the mind of giving to the society, which led to the establishment and the co-trusteeship of CAC registered NGO Meaningful Living Initiative. The focus of the group is the enhancement of positive life values for the family and the whole life development of the individual, particularly the youth. Segun is a partner in Meaningful Realtors, a real estate agency, and a director in Meaningful Homes and Properties Limited. He is an astounding real estate broker, offering discerning investments, bespoke property investment options that will not only give optimal returns on investments, but also be a legacy. He is happily married with children. And today we have our guest who is here with us. We'll be bringing him on board right now, and I'm excited to have him. Hello, sir. Great to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much. Thanks for having
Thank you,
me.
sir. Thank you. And I know that the internet was trying to mess up, but we are more than the internet itself. Thank you
Sure.
so much for making that time to join us today. Is there something you want to share with us that is not in your resume that I read? Something you want to share with us?
Yeah, sure, sure. I think one or two things I'm missing out. Well, at well over 5 decades, I'll be doing my fourth marathon. Hopefully next month, I do marathon. I do that I've done that back to back. I have a book. I've authored a book based on my experience in the marathon. The title of the book is "You Deserve a Medal." That's not in the CV you read, in the resume you read out.
Oh,
So
great.
I also do the marathon. Yeah.
That's a great one. I think I was also in the launch. I
In the
was in the
book
launch.
launch,
Yes, I
yeah, you
was.
must have.
BO
Yeah,
BO invited me, so I joined. Yeah,
exactly.
it was a virtual session. It was a great one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
great one. Thank you so much for making that time. And basically, one of the reasons why we do this show already, you heard it from the intro. We try to want to
Yeah.
make people to look inward. We are stronger inward when we look inward. God has input in every one of us is created skills and talents and giftings. There is no one creature God created empty. Everyone, we are unique with our different skills. But a lot of people are yet to discern or discover who they are. And in not discovering yourself, you try to go with everything that is ongoing. You go with the goose and gander, you go to and fro because you don't know where you belong. And so basically we try to tell our story, and our story is only what makes us unique. Just as our fingerprints are unique to us, we don't have the same fingerprint. And there are no two people of the same parents or even identical twins having the same fingerprints. Often everyone is different. So we are unique in our calling, in our purpose. So I would like you to tell me what informed you with all the degree gathering, with all the knowledge accumulation, personal development. What informed that?
Well, just like you said, Sandra, one of the things that informed my own that gives me a drive is my uniqueness. As a matter of fact, once in a while I sit down and look at myself. How am I able to do a
Oh,
lot of the things? At every point in time, I'm always doing more than one thing. At every
yeah.
point in time, into this and doing that. And I sit down and I wonder, how am I doing this? I'm getting to discover and to realize that that is my uniqueness. That is about me.
Yeah.
So the point I get to, and I realize that I'm not maximizing myself by, I wouldn't say it's multitasking, but multi-utilizing my talents, or utilizing my multiple talents. I think there's a deficiency. So what informs me is first and foremost the realization that I am different, I am unique. I don't have to be like somebody who does so much
Yeah.
more things than I do, or somebody who is not doing as enough thing that I am doing. So at every point in I should be doing as much as I can afford to do optimally.
Sure. That's great. That's a great one. I'm trying to get a pen so that I can take some of the nuggets you're sharing. Great one. And that's because you know yourself. Because a lot of times, if you don't discover yourself, you will not know what to do. But because you've discovered yourself, you've seen your strengths, so you are harnessing all the potentials that God has put inside of you. Some people are
True.
left out there, they have a lot of potentials, but they're just thinking, oh, life is not fair, life is partial. But sincerely, we need to discover ourselves, know who you are. If you don't have and I know a lot of times, I used to have what you call identity crisis. When you have teenagers between the age of 14 to 19, they're trying to discover themselves because They're having body, physical changes and everything. They're trying to become who they are not. Some of them, have discovered themselves. But some of them want to become like other people, maybe other actors. Like some people will tell you, oh, I want to become like Messi. I want to. And most times I try to tell the youth around me, I said, why don't you strive to become better than Messi? Know your strength and go beyond Messi. And because sometimes we shouldn't say, I want to become like someone. You don't know the kind of troubles the person has been through, the kind of sickness and everything. So when you say you want to become like them, are you ready to take up all they've been through? So what we should try to say, I want to become a better version of Segun or Sonowo. Just like I would say John Maxwell. He's written a lot of books. And I could say, oh, I want to become a better version of John Maxwell. You understand? I don't want to be him exactly because we are all different. We can't be the same. I appreciate that feedback that you gave. So it is said that when you see value in yourself, you add value to yourself and you want to give others value. You don't give what you don't have. That is it. You don't. So what you've been doing in the past years is acquiring a lot of knowledge, skills, going for training. Just like today, I was, pleading with you to come online early enough, but you were coming from a training. And I'll be wondering, some other people will be like, why is this guy giving himself stress? But because you know yourself and you know the skills you need to acquire, and that's why you're putting yourself to training. You understand? Yeah. It is said that success is uphill. Nothing of great value is easy. You don't find gold on the streets.
No, you don't.
You don't find diamond on the street. Everything that's going to create, everything that's going to leave a mark in the sand of times, anything that is worthwhile is uphill, meaning you're going to climb it. Climbing the hill, you know how painful it is. It is easy to come down the hill, but very difficult to climb it. So success is uphill. So if you're ready to go uphill, then you're ready for success. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sandra.
So, in gathering all of these skills, I'm sure it wasn't a bed of roses. There were low moments, there were difficult times. How have you managed through all your journey? Because I believe a lot of times we go through tough times. And there are two things tough times make you. It's either they make you better or they mar you. Some people remain on the low end rather than getting better. So what have you encountered in life? And how have you managed to come out of those difficult times to become a better person?
Okay, thank you very much, Sandra. Like you said, I mean, life is in phases, and like you can see, just like the image behind me, where you have a stallion. That painting is just in black and white. Life is in black and white. I mean, there are gray moments, but life is not a single color. There are times to go through the low moment and the down moment. I go through mine. Don't let me say I've gone through mine. I'm not done with life. There's still there might still be some ahead. But looking back and from where I am, I think one thing that has kept me going with the low moments is that you see, as human beings, there are always moments in our life that you would have done something that you'd have done well. There must have been at least one thing that you'd have done well in life. And what will that thing do for you as you go through life? That one thing that you are able to do, that you have been able to do well in life, is a reference point for you. Is a reference point for you to look back to and say that, well, if I could go through that, then I can go through this. If I could go through that dark moment, growing up, even as toddlers, the fact that you could get up and walk, you went through something. The fact that you could go from walking, you go from crawling to standing up 1-2 steps, then you can walk fast, then you start running, and you can do all that. Then it means that at any other time that probably you fall down, you will know that, oh, when you were learning to walk, you fell down, then you got up and you started walking. So one of the things that helped me as a person to go through my low moment is when I look back and I say that, how did I go through that? And I'll give you a practical example. This is the second week of the year, and what I've been going through presently is grappling with fixing my goals for the year, setting up and resetting my vision board and all that. I told some of my coaches, my business development coach, I said, I set my goal for a particular amount. I looked back and I said that, Segun, from where you're coming from, can you get that done? The guy said, no worry, just tell your mind a lie. That if you could do that last year, then you can do that this year.
Sure.
You know, you do that. Just look at every point in time that it seems as if you're having a low moment. Even if you have not gone through that situation, look around you and say, Sandra, I heard Sandra's story. I read from Sandra's book. And that is one of the things that you talked about, gaining knowledge. That's one of the things about reading. That's one of the things about exposing yourself to positive circumstances and situations, right? They can always be reference points for you.
Yeah.
So your life should be lived deliberately. Deliberately, and part of that is living your life deliberately is that you even prepare for the time that you could have low moments.
Yeah.
It's not as if you're waiting for it. It's not as if, in fact, life is not, some part of life will say, it doesn't say if something, it says when. When you go to, so that when you go through those circumstances, because they will eventually come anyway, whether you like it or not. It's not that you are coming. Those times will eventually come. But if you have deliberately lived your life in preparation for it, right, you will be unawares. So what I've said two things now. When low moments come, look back at your previous wins and
look
make
for
them
one thing to be grateful
look for at least one thing that you've been able, that has been in your favor in the past, and you believe that if you could go through that, then you will go through this. That's number one. Secondly, make efforts to live your life deliberately. Do things that will prepare you. Guard yourself. Prepare. Get on the armor. Right? What are some of these armors? Reading. What are some of these armors? Meeting people like Sandra. I mean, it's interesting to know that you and I only met in a virtual space, and it was when you were talking now about my book launch that I remembered. Oh, we would have met through BO. BO and myself worked in the bank way back, and we just met in the virtual space, and we've been connecting ever since. So exposing yourself to, and I've been following you on when you set up MAD, making a difference. I connected, and we've been moving on and on. What am I doing? I'm being deliberate, exposing myself to situations that will help me soar when challenges come. So live your life deliberately and look back to your previous wins, and whatever you're going through presently will just be a walkover for you. I believe it.
Awesome. That is great. I wanted you to keep going on, but my book is already full. But let me quickly do a recap. Wonderful session. He said there should be one thing in life that you have done successfully. You can't tell me you spent 50 or 40, 30, 20 years of your life without achieving something that you did well. And he said, let that one thing propel you to move forward. You know, be grateful. And that's like being grateful, be thankful that God can help me do this. God can help me do much more. He said, whatever you tell your mind is what your mind believes. So tell your mind lie. Tell your mind that you're going to make money this year. Tell your mind you're going to be a property owner. Just speak what you want. That's what the mind wants. And keep speaking it. Then before you know it, you start acting it. It comes into manifestation. Awesome. That was a great one for me. Life must be lived with intentionality, deliberately. Don't wake up and say, I don't feel like doing anything. You must have a routine, and you must have an habit. You must have something you do over and over and over again. It is said that he said nobody got good at doing anything for the first time good. But over time, as they get doing, they go better. And that's why we talk about the compounding interest, the compounding effects. Because when you do it, like the baby you spoke about, that's just trying to work. He tries to, to stand up, and he falls back. He tries to do it again. He keeps doing it over and over and over. Before you know it, he's taking a step. And he's excited that he's making a move. And that is what life is about. Life is about you standing up from, life is refusing. Some people will tell you life is fair. Life is unfair. But whatever life is to you, you got to pick yourself from your down moments and move. Like you rightly said, your network is your net worth. We met only virtually, and we're still connecting. And sincerely, we built trust over the internet such that I can refer you anywhere, because I believe that for you to be on social media, for you to be somebody of great repute, you have character, you have integrity. And that's why, maybe that's the reason why we're being, communicating. When anybody tells me they need a real estate person or they need anybody, the first thought that came to mind is BO, Segun, Israel, because these are people I have dealt with Even not even meeting them one-on-one. We've been doing a lot of things together, just like we're collaborating today. I'm bringing you on the show to tell us your experience because I know that you have great stories to tell. Life is intentional. Live prepared. Only
Yeah.
those who are prepared make the most of life. If you're unprepared, when opportunity comes, it will pass you by. And it is said
Mm-hmm.
opportunity come but once. Opportunity
Yeah.
sometimes do not repeat themselves. And opportunity comes in disguise.
Yeah.
Opportunity doesn't come the way you think. You don't find gold clean on the streets. It comes with all the debris and all the debts. So if you want to pick it up, fine. You could say, oh my God, this is thinking, I can't. But because when you pick it up and you refine it and clean it, it is worth much more than what you are looking at. So your environment matters. Who are you exposing yourself to? What
Yeah.
knowledge are you gathering? Like he rightly said, he's gone for several trainings. He's been following my show. He's been seeing what I'm doing. And I guess if it wasn't making any impact on him, Segun probably would have, maybe dropped me. I'll look for somebody else. I'll connect with someone else. Life is all about connection. Life is all about network. We go to school because we want to meet with people. Being alone in your house, in whatever, wherever you live, your apartment, you will never get to meet anybody in life. But going out on the field, you will connect with so many souls. You will see people. And in life, I believe there are no mistakes with God. God always is an orchestrator. He sees the end from the beginning. So there's a reason why we've met, and there's a reason why we're collaborating at this particular time. And your attitude in life determines your attitude. What's your
Yeah.
attitude? Just like you rightly said, how do you take life? There will be difficult moments. So when they come, how do you get prepared? Prepare for the good times and the bad times. Like now is the beginning of the year. Some people will be running in, getting so busy, not having a goal, not having a plan. It is said when you don't plan, you are planning to fail. So what are your plans this year? What do you intend to do? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to own properties in eyebrow areas? Do you want to go into crypto? What do you want to do extra? Do you want to give yourself into a lot of personal development? There is one thing you can give to yourself that nobody can steal from you. It is personal development. Your money in the
Sure.
bank, somebody else will take it. Your car, somebody can get rid of you and take your car and anything. But whatever you give to yourself is what stays with you for life. And so living life is not meant to be endured. Life is meant to be enjoyed. While you're going through your process, there will be difficult times, but enjoy those process. Pass that test. Go through that exam. It is said even in school, they don't promote you if you fail a class. You retake that class. So in life too, if you don't go through your process, you will repeat that process again. And that's why it says when you run away from your challenges, you will live to fight it some other time. And you don't want to
Sure.
fight your battles when you don't have any strength. So fight your battles, confront whatever, take the bull by the horn, get headlong, whether you're making it, reach out for help, talk to like minds, get yourself in the right environment and get the right people to help you. Thank you so much. That was a great one you just shared. And I
Yeah.
let me go through it again. Thank you. And in those moments that you came out successfully, how have you established yourself to continue to be in success? Because people think, oh, when I make money, that's all, I'm worthy. But if money is not well managed, money will not be multiplied. The same way the money came is the same way the money will go. So what have you done to maintain your success? And how have you been able to, celebrate when you have great moments, when you're successful? Have you been able to keep those moments? Because there's a saying that says motivation keeps you going. So there is a need for you to celebrate so that you can be motivated rightly. So I'd like to hear from you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Sandra. Thank you once again. Well, one of the things I do about successes is that all of this thing I keep learning. Yeah, I have okay. Let me start from saying that I took this away from my late father, and one of his maxim is you learn every day.
Sure.
So I start with the fact that I keep my mind open to learning every day. No day should go by without you learning at least one thing.
Yeah.
So for my wins, one of the things I try to do with my wins, I share my wins, right? I don't keep it to myself. No man lives to himself. I share my wins. I let other people get to know I won. And that's part of what propelled me to write the book, You Deserve a Medal. If you don't have a copy, well, we can talk about that later. You can reach me through Sandra to get a copy of the book, You Deserve a Medal, right?
Yeah, sure.
That everybody deserves a medal. You deserve a medal. So I share my wins. I not only stop at sharing my wins, I celebrate my wins. So you should learn not only to share your wins, you should learn to celebrate yourself. And that's what Sandra said, that motivation keeps you going. When you celebrate your win, you are indirectly encouraging yourself to go to the next win.
Yeah.
When you celebrate your win, you are indirectly, in fact, it's not even, you are directly motivating yourself to go to your next win. So when you get your win, have a learning mind. I have a learning mind. I share my wins. I celebrate my wins, right? And also, one of the things I've learned, particularly from the circle of people I relate with, is to have a serving spirit. I don't want to say a servant spirit, but a serving spirit. Today in the training I went for, I met one of my. Okay, you have a call there?
No, go ahead.
I met one of my mentors who happens to be a billionaire in the real estate industry, and I took a shot with him. If you look at my WhatsApp status, you still see him there today. And I look and I remember the first time I met him. The first time I met this man, it was like my grand upline in the business, in the real estate business. But he was so humble. He treated me with so much. In fact, I was still working then. I was still in banking. I was still just doing my real estate business by the side, not giving it attention, so much attention. So I was like commanding him on phone, bring this document to me. I mean, I did a transaction that he helped me on his own time to go and get the documents. And I was like, he served me, even though he was my supervisor, as it were. And today, I still revere him. And what do I do when we go out for our events and our conferences? I take out time. I come down from my IOX. I go down to serve in those places. Deliberately, I do it. It is on my own volition. It is one of the key things that keeps me going. Having a serving spirit.
Yeah.
Right? Have a spirit to serve others. Have a spirit to serve others. One of our former leaders called it, being a servant leader. That's what I do. So that's one of the things that keep me going as a leader. So even in my winning moments, I still keep my head low. So one of the things that keep me going, also in addition, is that I want to keep my head humble. I want to keep myself low, even as I win, and knowing that, guy, what have you've not done? You can do much more.
Yeah, sure.
And that's in being a servant, in being humble. I make myself realize that you can do much more. There are still heights for you to attain. So don't rest on your oars. You have not arrived yet. When you think you have done $1 billion in transaction, right? There is somebody who is far younger than you. There's somebody who doesn't have all the abilities that you have done, that has done far much more than you have done. So what's your excitement? So calm down. Good enough you have won. Good enough you are celebrating your win. Don't rest on your horse. Keep going. So I keep propelling myself on that yes, I can do better. And the good book calls it. It says I can't know myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are past and striving on for higher things. That is it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Success is not a destination. It is never ending. It's a continuum. It continues. Yeah. And learning every day should be a key. We should all be lifelong learners. You only stop learning when you are dead. As long as you're living, you keep learning. Share and impact others. It is said that when you think you're giving to others, you're enriching yourself much more than you're stretching and you're growing. Those who try to hoard or keep information to themselves, they are doing themselves a greater disservice because they don't grow. They're stagnant. And that's why the Dead Sea is called the Dead Sea, because it doesn't flow to others. It smells. Mm-hmm. But when you flow to others, you get freshness. People give to you a great ideas you gather from others. You give them your own ideas. You rub minds. And it says, celebrate your wins. Your wins are the little successes you have made in life. Celebrate your win, as this will keep you going. Motivation is what keeps you going, because you might have other people in your team. You want them to feel encouraged. You need to celebrate them. Give them an award. Give them perks. Have pep talks with them. Things that will make them see that they are great and they are doing great. It is said that challenges is a continuum. As long as you're living, just like success, there is nobody that has no challenge. It's either you're just finishing one and you're stepping into another one, or you are just coming into one and you are leaving. It is a continuum as long as you're leaving. Just the same thing with success. Success is continuum. It's a never-ending journey. We all strive. You say you want to make 10 billion naira today. Tomorrow, 10 billion naira looks like a small money. You want to make something much more. You continue to aspire for greater things. Like our guest rightly said, you keep aspiring. When you think you have arrived, somebody else just did that in seconds, did much more than you thought you have achieved. So we've got to, just, learn. Leaders are servants. He said a leader is one who knows and shows it to others. You don't know and keep it to yourself. You share it with others. And in sharing, you get more. I think we'll just take a minute break so that when we come back, we'll just try to do a wrapping up. So I'll try and play my book video. Thank you. We're back from the short break. Thank you so much. That was a great session. And how have you managed your relationships? Because there's one saying I know for myself that guides me, that relationships are the ships we ride on to destiny. So have you managed all the relationships? People have come into your life. Some have gone, some are still there. Have you been able to keep those relationships, those network, and have you, moved it up to impacting yourself positively?
Well, thank you very much, Sandra. That's a good one you asked me there. And I was still discussing with one of my coaches yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was telling them that one of the things I've realized and I appreciate about myself is that I'm not a transactional person. I don't do transactions, and I'll explain what I mean.
Awesome.
I do relationships.
I get what you mean, but you need to explain.
Yeah, I don't do transactions. I meet you for once, and we have one thing to do that we did together, or that whether it comes out right or whether it came out right or whichever way it went, I don't burn my bridges. I keep my connections. I keep my connections because I know that somewhere down the line, I'm going to need it. One is that it is in it. I've found it that it's natural. That's just who I am. That's just my personality. And I keep working on it, that I deliberately keep relationships. I deliberately think of who can I call that I'm called. I deliberately think of who can I reach out to. Deliberately, I do it within the nuclear family, within the extended family, amongst my friends. I try to reach out to people. I just see myself that I'm a connector. I try to connect with people. So maintaining relationships is not a challenge for me. Like I said, I transited from financial services into wealth creation. Right, I left banking March last year. Yesterday morning, on my way to school, because of the nature of my job presently, I can afford to do school runs, right? Yeah. So because I drop children off in school and I go about my business, if I can afford to go back to pick them, I go to do that between my wife and I. Just like you said, you do in your own environment. It's a case of, and anyway, school runs time is another bonding time, and that's another relationship that we need to maintain as parents. School runs time is the bonding time. So let me start from the nuclear, like you said about relationship. I try to maintain relationship with my children. Even when I was in financial services, when I was fully in banking, I tried to attend PTA. PTA is Parent Teachers Association PTA meeting, or I go for open days. Why? Because and like I said, it's about being deliberate. Because I have realized personally that there will be a time that you can't do that again, because those children are no more in primary school, they are no more in secondary, they are in the higher institution, they don't need you. So if you are not present in their life at the moment that they need you, you will never be there again. There won't be moments for them to remember you. So that's one of the things that you have to be deliberate. I'm deliberate about my relationship with my children. I try to be there for them. I try to be present for them. My children will ask me, Daddy, are you the one coming for my open day? because they know I'm not the kind of guy that will say that that is busy, he can't come. No, it's deliberate.
Sure, that's a
Concerning,
great one.
yeah, concerning my marital relationship, well, to the glory of God, I think I would want to say I'm married to one of the greatest women on earth. Yeah, I can say that proudly. I
Sure,
can say that proudly. And because
you
I know
know.
she's a great woman, yeah, there are times you still want to be the man anyway. Naturally, we are egocentric, but I mean, I go out of my way to tell her I'm sorry. I'm sorry from me to her is nothing difficult at all. In fact, she believes that my I'm sorry is too cheap because I'm like,
But that's a great
she,
one.
at times she feels that my I'm sorry is too cheap. It's so very much on my lips. Oh, I am sorry. I said, I am sorry. So
But that's a great
why?
one. You know how the fine
One of
men
the
do that.
mentors told me that I would rather forfeit my right to maintain my peace. And I
Sure.
wish that as married couples we realize this, that what causes problem in most relationships is because one person wants to be right and would believe that the other person should be wrong. No, one of my own maxims is that I am right does not mean you are wrong. And that
Mm-mm.
you are right does not mean I am wrong. It could just be a case of a 6 and a 9 in inverted
Yes,
ways.
different perspective.
It's about
Sure.
perspective. So I try to
Wow.
put perspectives into my
6 and
relationships.
9.
I try
Yeah.
to it's about 6 and 9. It's
Oh,
what
that's
when you so I bring perspectives into my relationship that I am
great.
right, you are wrong. No, it's just the way I'm looking at it. And if I want to give the benefit of, okay, the way you're looking at it may be different, I try to say, okay, how are you looking at it? Can we do an inversion? Okay, oh, I am sorry. And that's why, first and foremost, I'm sorry is not difficult for me. I will now come back to explain myself to say, why am I sorry? Or what you actually misunderstood me. And you will now tell me you are sorry. Than for me to insist at that moment in time that I am right, you are wrong. Well, you bring friction. You will mess up your relationship. So for me, relationship is not about me being right and holding on to my gauntlet. No, it's about me understanding that the fact that I can even do something that hurts you, I am sorry.
And
I
that
can now
human, that
explain
makes you human.
exactly, and I can now explain to you, and you will now see that oh, I never had that intention. And what happens with that? We go on, we live life on. That's one area. So about my relationship with my colleagues and all that, I left my boss, my former boss, like about a year ago. 2 days ago, I called him. Oh, boss, happy New Year. How you doing? And he was asking me, oh, Segun, how are you doing? How's your job? How's your new business? I called my former colleague. We the same yesterday, and we spoke. Like I said, I thought, oh, I've not called these people. I want to connect. I never can know. My
That's
children may need
me.
children. It's about long. I mean, life is about as long as you are alive, and even not as long as you are alive, even when you are long gone, your children will reap from
The
what you do,
relationship.
whatever you do. Yeah, whatever you do from your relationships, right? I benefited from my late father's relationship. So why don't I leave a legacy for my children to benefit from my own relationship? Because legacy that we talk about is just about money. It's equally about relationships. So I don't build transactions. I build relationships that I want to leave for my own children to live on, even when I'm long gone. So relationship is very,
Yeah.
very key, and I don't take it. I mean, I don't take it with a pinch of salt. I'm very high on relationships.
I am high on a relationship. Relationship is a higher currency when it comes to me. Money is a lower currency. But relationship,
Good.
because if I've got people, I've got the word, I've got money. I'm even richer than Bill Gates because I've had people. I have foot
Yeah.
soldiers. I have people I can call on. I need these and they're there for me. But sometimes you have money. Money cannot buy men. You can be
No,
throwing
okay.
the party. You can be throwing the party and nobody comes with all the money you have. But people are
Mhm.
what makes you. So that's why it says relationship is critical in life. You need to network. It helps you, it brings out the best in you. You rub off on people, you quarrel, things go wrong, but it brings out the best in you because you find out, okay, what are my weaknesses? What are the things I need to work on? What is the thing that, okay, why is everyone saying the same thing? And this helps you to get yourself in the right mode and putting yourself into learning and trying to cut out those things that will not help you get to your next level. And that's why I mention it, because our kids also need to know. Because we're in an age where everybody has a phone, we're on social media, you get into the car, people are just on their phone, everybody's on the phone, and there's no communication any longer. There's no relationship. And that's because we have a Lord. But I'm not saying that's wrong, but we need to be able to curb those things within our kids. When you're at home, we must interact. You understand? When you need to do
True.
all those things, fine. But don't spend 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 hours of your time on phone. So what I tried to tell my kids and said, whatever you're watching on the screen, why didn't you get on the screen so some other people can be watching you? Make money
Yeah.
from it. And because I say that, because what are the resources your kids are allowing, or the people around you are bringing around you? What are the resources you're open to? Watch out what you allow in, because what you allow in that makes you. You know, it is said that garbage in, garbage out. You don't give what you don't have. So if you sit down all day, watch horror movie, or you watch some other kind of films, it is what you're going to, give out to your community. So it's a lot of times I tell people, I say, give yourself to personal development. It is cannot be quantified. Money can buy whatever personal development you give to yourself, because it's a skill that you get to have, and people see you in places and are like, oh my God, we left school together at the same time. But you find out the difference between someone who has given himself to personal development and someone who has just been working for a boss all his life. There's always a difference, because you build confidence, you know how to network, you know how to sell, you know how to, you have good customer service. Because beyond that, you have become an entrepreneur, you've gone through tough times, you've come back, you've reinvented yourself. But someone who left school, college, and is working for someone has not discovered himself or his strengths or areas he can leverage on. So, and that's why I talk about entrepreneurship. Whilst working for someone, try and grow your business. Try and grow, find out what is your strength, what has God called you for, what is it that you have passion for. Start growing it alongside. I don't think there's any man who works for someone who has become a billionaire. Nowhere. You keep serving and growing the empire of the other person. So whilst growing the other person's empire, you can grow yours alongside. And when you think your empire is grown enough to take care of your responsibility, then you can pull out. A lot of times people go into entrepreneurship without being prepared. They think, oh, because my boss is doing this, I can do same. And they just pull out from the work and face it. And then after a while, they run back again to paid employment, because they've not test waters. They've not tried it out to see how successful this is. How have you been able to manage as an entrepreneur? Because I know that you are working for someone all the while before you put out to starting your own business. Have you managed?
Well, transition is not it's something that will just happen in time at some point in time, whether you want to do it deliberately or whether it's done to you. But what is most important is the preparedness. How prepared were you before the transition occurs,
Yeah.
right? And one of the things, I had a former boss, I had a former supervisor, and who always believed, I mean, our word was being an intrapreneur, that even while you are in employment, even while you're working for someone, see yourself as take ownership of that position. It is that sense of ownership that you have in that position that will carry you when you now have to own what is your own
business. Sure.
Yeah, it is that sense of ownership that you have while still owning somebody else's that will help you to own your own when you have to own yours, right? So for me, Les Brown, I think it's Les Brown that says that is you do your job from 9 to 5 and you do your work from 6 to 8. Leaving an hour in between. You do your job. Your job is what you do. He says, Les Brown, if I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he says something like,
there's even a saying that says you're paid for your job.
Exactly.
You're paid for your job, or you are made for your calling. What's your calling?
You're made for your calling. Exactly. You're made for your calling.
Get paid, but you get an internal payment, which money cannot give you. The satisfaction you get.
Yeah. So while I was doing my job, I was making out time to do my work. And in my resume that I read, it said, I do photography. I mean, I do photography. I just found that I loved photography. First and foremost, I love to take pictures. Then I moved into taking pictures, into taking other people's pictures. And I realized that I could just do it seamlessly. I didn't have to go to school to learn photography. I taught myself. In fact, God told me to do photography, and I saw myself doing photography, and I was doing it well. It's an inspiration.
It just brought me back to going to do what I want to do. Last year or 2 years ago, We love pictures in my house. I snap picture, even in school. When I went to UI, the
Yeah.
photographer knows me. Every day, once a week, I must take a picture.
Must take pictures.
Yeah, even at home, my kids sometimes when I say, please come and take me, mommy, oh, you always like picture. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
love it. So last year I told my husband, I think I want to go into photography. My daughter
Oh, yeah.
knows edits. She will take you pictures that nobody else can take you that picture. And once she takes you, your picture stands out. So everywhere we
Yeah.
go to, they know her, they will give her the camera or the phone and
Yeah.
say, "Come," and she's just barely 10 years old. She will
Yeah.
take you good portraits and she will
Yeah.
edit it here and there. She will put
Yeah.
some effects such that you'll be like, this is not the way I look. She's done it already. She will tell you, Mommy,
Yeah.
I don't want you to see it. I want it to be only me that knows how to do it. But that's to tell you that I left that and say, okay, but sincerely, it's what you have passion in doing should be what you should grow as a business. Like you rightly said, having an ownership mentality wherever you're
Yeah.
working. How are you managing the business? Are you an eye service person, or are you taking the job or the business like your own business? Once you take people's business like your business, you are building yourself for tomorrow. So once you get into your own business, you're able to manage that same business the way you did with your boss. And one thing it leaves you with a good relationship. You can often call your boss for help.
Yeah.
All of my bosses, I still talk to them. I still call
Yeah.
them. I still reach out to them.
Same here.
And life
Same
should
here.
be that way. We shouldn't burn bridges because, oh, I'm no longer with him. We're enemies or we're rivals. There are several people doing the same business and they have their customers. So don't see yourself as enemy of progress or, oh, we are rivals. No one is a rival. We are there to strengthen each other. And that's why God says, there's a part in the Bible that says, God, places people in families. God moves, He moves the solitary and places them in family. There's a reason why we have a network of friends. We belong to a family. We belong to a church family. You have other groups that you belong to. There is a reason for that. And you must find out and ask yourself, God, why have you placed me here for such a time as this? Once you know what and why you have been made, you would fulfill purpose. You will live a life of significance. And every one of us in our world will be making a difference in our world, such that when people talk about Segun Sonowo, oh, like, oh my God, that great guy, he does this, he does that, such that even when you're no longer existing, people remember your good deeds.
Yeah.
Such that when I'm no longer existing, people remember my good deeds. So life is meant to be lived, with a picture of helping others, being a servant, being a leader, serving others. I want to thank you, Segun. I also want to thank our viewers so that we don't extend and exceed our time. I want to thank you for
Yeah.
being on the show, and I also want to thank you. It looks like I'm going to bring you again for a panel discussion. You had so much you need to.
I'd love to be here again. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you so much for your time. I don't know if you have anything to wrap today's episode, maybe a short story for 2-3 minutes, just to wrap it up, so that for those who are joining late, at least can get something from you and run with.
Well, thank you very much, Sandra. Thank you once again for giving this last opportunity this minute to give one last word. One of the things I want to tell anybody here is that don't always believe that there is something in you that you can use to impact the world.
Yeah.
Always believe there's something in you that you can use to impact the world. And two, never rest on your oars. Yeah, Sandra have been trying to get me on the show for a while, but the last one that made her get me here was, well, just towards the end of last year, I got an award, and which you read out in my resume, of being one of the top 1% in my industry. Was I gunning for it? No, I was just, as a matter of fact, that wasn't really my focus. I was just doing what I wanted to do. So keep doing the right thing. She talked about the compound effect. Keep doing the right thing over and over again. Before you know what's happening, life will reward you. Life will recognize you.
Your word will discover
Keep doing one thing. Keep doing at least one thing well over and over again. Before you know what's happening, life will recognize you. I'm grateful to God for that recognition that God gave me, and it's an impetus for me to know that you can still keep going on. I can still do better. So
yes,
thank you very much.
That was a great one. When I saw it, I was like, you can't hide this time around. I must fish you out. You must come out. We want to learn from you. We want also to glean from you. This was a great session. I really appreciate making our time to share from your wealth of experience. And I think
Thank
maybe
you.
sometime in the next 1 or 2 months, I'm going to be inviting you again. It's a great session. And I want to thank our viewers for staying. And if this is your first time, please kindly like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can often get more updates from us. And if this has been a blessing to you, please share with your loved ones. You want to be a servant leader. You want to give to others. You want to impact your world. You want to influence your environment. I want us to go out there. Let's make our word. Let's make a difference in our world. Thank you and have a blessed evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much, Sandra.
Bye.